So, like I was saying, you cannot define a child or the child's intelligence because of their academics. So your children can have, or your child can have, struggle with their grades. They can struggle with their grades, but that doesn't mean that they are not intelligent. They can struggle in mathematics, they can struggle in a certain subject, but that doesn't mean that they are not smart. That doesn't mean that they are not intelligent. That doesn't mean that they are not good enough academically. It just means that there is a certain way they learn. I've talked about learning preferences before, learning styles. If you can check my previous videos, you will see it there. There's a certain way they learn. There's a type of intelligence that they have. There's a strength that they have. So if you get to know all of these things put together, you would actually see your child succeed academically. So rather than being always wanting to complain, shouting that your child is not doing well academically, this is happening, that is happening, instead of always being in that position of shouting, screaming, and sometimes as far as even punishing the child for not doing well, or being bothered as a parent for your child not doing well in their academics or in some certain subjects, why not take the approach of knowing that they have a learning style and they have a strong intelligence, and in that way they can actually have good and better grades. So why does this matter? Why does identifying your learner's strongest intelligence matter? It matters because many parents, you as a parent listening to me right now, you interpret intelligence because you rely on school grades. You rely on their behavior in class. You rely on their ability to sit still. You also rely on maths and English performance. Some parents, when they see that it is in maths and English that their children are having issues in, they tag the child as dull. I've worked with students that their parents have written them off because their maths and their English are not good. So this is why it matters. Knowing how to identify your child's strongest intelligence will make you stop, as a parent, to stop misinterpreting intelligences, because you rely on these things too much. Of course, it is good that they have good grades in their maths, their mathematics, and their English. And there is a different approach that can be taken for them to have good grades in those subjects. But that should not be the reason why you should tag the child as dull. But these do not represent the full picture. Identifying a child's strongest intelligence helps improve learning performance. Yes. It boosts their confidence and self-esteem. It reduces frustration and pressure for you as a parent. It will reduce your frustration of you being, mad at them. I'm spending money on you, I'm sending you to the best schools, you have good tutors, you have this, you have that, but you're still not doing well in mathematics. This is why you are here tonight, to identify your learner's strongest intelligence, so that it can reduce frustration and pressure for you. It will also help you in support the career and interest discovery of your child. It will also improve parents to child understanding, and it will also help teachers teach more effectively. So, like I said, every child is different. I say this every single time I come on the teaching series on Saturday. Every child is different. Your child has a strong intelligence that you don't know. Last week I talked about the first 4 intelligences, and today we'll finish the remaining 4, and then I'll talk about how you can identify their strongest intelligence. Because their intelligence is not as visible as their peers doesn't make them dull. Many parents make that mistake. Because their intelligence is not as visible as their peers doesn't make them dull. Last week Saturday, if you were in this class, I talked about the logical mathematical intelligence. So for a logical mathematical intelligent child, that child cannot struggle in mathematics or physics or even chemistry. let's say mathematics and physics, because that child's strongest intelligence is a logical, mathematical, intelligent child. So you can't now compare that your child who is a visual, spatial, intelligent child or a bodily, kinesthetic, intelligent child, you are comparing your child who is like that to a logical, mathematical, intelligent child. You will be frustrated. You will put the child under unnecessary pressure every single time. Yes. So, because their intelligence is not as visible as their peers doesn't mean that they are dull. Every child is different, and your child has a strong intelligence. Some are logical, while some are verbal. If you were not in the last class, you can always go back to the video there on my YouTube page. The first 4 intelligences, I taught it last week. And now, let's just do a brief overview of the 8 intelligences. There is the logical, mathematical intelligence, which are the problem pattern finder. They don't have issues with mathematics aside school. So what I'm doing right now is beyond academics. Outside the 4 walls of academics, your logical, mathematical child can be a problem solver to any issue that he faces. And when you understand that this is how this child is, this child's, or this is your child's strongest intelligence, you know the kind of career to allow that child follow. So for a logical, mathematical, intelligent child, they are problem pattern finder. They always want to look for problems to solve because they are logical. Then for a verbal, linguistic, intelligent child, they are communicators. Like I said last week, they are communicators. They are good communicators. They are good storytellers. For the visual, spatial intelligence, they are the picture thinkers. They are designers. Such a child can be a good designer. Then for the bodily, kinesthetic, intelligent learner, they are hands-on learners. They are movers. They love to build. They love to do things. They can't sit at a place. And like I said last week, most parents, they misinterpret this thing. When you have a child that cannot sit at a place, please, that child is not abnormal. That child is a bodily, kinesthetic child. That child loves to move. That's the way they learn. That's the way they interact with the environment. That's the way they live. So let's now look into the remaining 4. The remaining 4 multiple intelligences. There is the musical, rhythmic intelligence. And who are these children? Who are these learners? For this kind of learners, for the musical, rhythmic intelligence learners, these are the song lovers. So probably you have a child who loves to sing. Everything they are singing, every opportunity they get, they are making rhymes. Whatever they learn in school, they are trying to use a rhyme. What they are doing is that they don't just love singing. They remember through singing. Yes. And how do you spot such a child? If you don't know that your child is a musical, rhythmic, intelligence learner, how do you spot them? They are always singing. They are always humming while doing things, while washing, while doing the assignments. What they are trying to do is that they are trying to remember things. How you can also spot them is that they remember lyrics easily. They remember lyrics easily. So an example is a child. An example of a musical, rhythmic, intelligent child is a child who struggles. They can struggle academically. They can have issues in maths and English. But they remember everything when it is put into a song. So you see that they can remember the lyrics of a song from A to Z, but they struggle in remembering a mathematical formula. They struggle in remembering a mathematical formula, but they can remember the lyrics of a song from the beginning to the end. Such a child has the musical, rhythmic intelligence. The next one is the interpersonal intelligence. So these are the people person. For interpersonal intelligence learners, they are the people person. So how are they people? How are these kind of, or how do you spot this kind of people? They'll make friends easily. They know how to read emotions so well. This kind of learners, they don't struggle with making friends. They make friends easily. They love group work. And guess what? An interpersonal intelligent learner is very good at being a leader. You see that they love to take up responsibilities without even being told. That is a strong intelligence that can be in your child that you've not taken note of. How to spot them is that they make friends easily. They know how to read emotions. They know how to tell where you are good, when you're not in the mood, when you feel like talking, when you don't feel like talking. They know how to read emotions, and they are good leaders. They love group work. An example of this is of a child who is always the leader during, let's say, playtime, during school activities, during break. They volunteer to be the leader, even if they are not the top of the class. Yeah. They may not be the top of the class. They are not the high flyers in the class, but every time there is an opportunity to lead, they take the responsibility of leading, and they can lead well. Such a child is an interpersonal intelligent learner. That's a strong intelligence that child can have. Sorry, excuse me. So, it is expected for you as a parent, for you to find out and figure out that, okay, this child doesn't do well academically, doesn't do well in a subject, but really, what is that thing that this child can do without having issues or without having a problem in doing it well? So the next one, the third one rather, is the intrapersonal intelligence. The intrapersonal intelligence, we just said, we talked about the interpersonal intelligence, which are the people person, and now we're talking about the intrapersonal intelligence. These are the deep thinkers. These ones are good at figuring out what to do. How do you spot such a child? That child enjoys their quiet time. They love to be on their own. They are very observant. They reflect a lot, and such a child is a very good observer. They are so self-aware of themselves to the extent that you don't need to tell them things about themselves, because they actually know. They are always to themselves. They are called the intrapersonal intelligent learner. So such a child, you can see that a child that is very quiet but notices things that other people cannot take note of, pays attention to details. Every single thing that happens in their community, at home, and all of that, the child observes with every single nerve of their being. Such a child is called an intrapersonal intelligent learner. They enjoy quiet time. They love to reflect. They are self-aware. They have an idea of who they are, because they spend time with themselves. They are really quiet. And then the last one is the naturalistic intelligence. The eighth one rather. The naturalistic intelligence. These are the nature lovers. They are the nature lovers. And how do you spot them? They love animals. They love plants. They love nature. They notice patterns in nature. Every single time they want to go out, they enjoy outdoor activities. They want to be in the field. They love planting. They love everything that have to do with farming. They can name any animal and every animal you see. Let me give you an example, or rather an experience that I've had. I have a brother, a younger brother. While growing up, he always loved to watch Nat Geo Wild. Nat Geo Wild is a station where they show what the channel is fixated on is just talking about nature, animals, plants, everything that you can see in natural world. So my younger brother enjoyed watching every single time, and he was a fan of having pets. The pets were always animals. Today he wants a rabbit, tomorrow he wants a dog, and he can spend time watching natural world. We were like, what is here? What are you enjoying here? But it was later on that I realized that my brother, his strongest intelligence is in nature. He's a naturalistic, intelligent child. And I can't say, or we can't say, that because he's not good at something, that makes him dull, or that makes him, I don't know what to call it. He is smart, but in his own way. He is smart, but in his own way. He's a nature lover. He loves animals. He loves plants. He loves nature. He notices patterns in nature. He can name every plant. He can name every animal that he sees. He can spend his entire days watching natural world over and again and will not get tired. That is how to spot such a child. A child who can name animals, cares for pets, or understand the weather patterns is a naturalistic, intelligent child. And that can be their strongest intelligence. That can be their strongest intelligence. Now let's now move into identifying your learner's strongest intelligence, the main thing that we're looking into today. How do you identify your learner's strongest intelligence? From all that we've been saying since last week into today, how do you actually identify your learner's strongest intelligence? Like I said, every child is different. And it is best for you as a parent to know how to spot and identify these things. It will make it easier for you and that child. The first thing to do in identifying your learner's strongest intelligence is 1, watch what they do without being told. Watch what they do without being told. So, children review their intelligence through nature. Children, they review their intelligence through natural choices. So the first thing you can do as a parent is to watch what they do without being told. What I mean by that is that observe them in their quiet time. Observe them. Do not schedule the observation. Just take out time when they are doing things on their own. Just take out time and observe them. Because children review their intelligence through natural choices. Examples are a child who always dismantles toys. Every single time the child has picked up something, they want to scatter and fix up together. Such a child is a bodily kinesthetic intelligent child. Another example is of a child who draws on every surface. Now, this interests me so much because I've seen parents who, their toddlers, were always scribbling on the wall, scribbling on the couch, scribbling on the door, scribbling, and everything single time they are scribbling. And guess what these parents do? They beat the hell out of that scribble out of the child. They beat the child till the child will stop scribbling. And meanwhile, the reason why that child scribbles a lot is because that child is a visual, spatial, intelligent child. Now let me tell you something. A child who loves to scribble, who loves to draw, while they are toddlers, every single opportunity they have, they are drawing on the wall, they are writing on the wall. Let me just give you a clue. Give that child a canvas. What I mean by a canvas is like a board where they can draw on. Give the child a paint. Give the child something they can always draw on, and nurture that child. You would realize that this child will be the best artist in his time. So most parents do this thing a lot. When they see that there is something that child is doing that they are not comfortable with in sense of expressing their intelligence or their strength, they talk it out. They discipline it out. I don't think that's even called discipline, but it's because they don't understand that every child reveals their intelligence through natural choices. A child who draws on every surface is a visual, and such a child can be a very good artist. Think of the best artist you can that you know of in the world. That child or that person who is an artist that you love and you admire their work started off from childhood, and their parents did not just stop making them scribble, but rather they gave them the right tools. They gave them the right tools. So what you can do today as a parent is to observe your child this weekend. When they are not supervised, what do they choose naturally? What do they choose naturally? I have a child in the house where when she is less busy, she has picked up a book. She loves to read. She loves to write. She even told me today that I want to write a novel. And I was like, I will be the first person to read it. So what I'm doing for the child is that I'm trying to make her understand that even if you're not a good writer, because you have a flair for writing and reading, I'm not going to stop you from doing that. I've been able to understand and observe that she loves to pick up a book when she's not supervised. In that way, I can now tell and know that this child loves to read and loves to write, and that's their natural, or that is her natural intelligence. I noticed that every single time that she's not supervised, she has picked up a book. She's always wanting to read something. She's either reading or she's writing. And this girl can be the next Chimamanda. Just think of any writer of today that you love how they write. It started from childhood. It started from their preteens. It started from their teenage age. Chimamanda didn't just wake up one morning and became the best writer that you can ever think of, and you loved her books. It started from when she was young and she always picked up a book to read in her quiet time. So watch what they do without being told. That is a way, or that's one of the ways of identifying your learner's strongest intelligence, because children reveal intelligence through their natural choices. So do that this weekend. Observe your child this weekend when they are not supervised. What do they choose naturally? The second thing you can do is to notice how they solve problems. Now, intelligence shows up in problem-solving style. An example is you see that they talk through problems. Everything is an issue. So what can we do? They're just trying to talk. They're trying to talk. They're trying to talk. They're trying to explain through. That's a linguistic child. Like I said about noticing what they do. Another example is that you see a child who loves to draw or visualizes things every time. Is a spatial child. That is a visual spatial child. Another is that you see a child who uses trial and error moves around. They want to try something new. They want to just, whether it fails or not, they want to try it. Whether it fails or not, they want to try it. Please, if you're following me, let me know in the comment section that, of course, I will try something this weekend. I will observe my child this weekend when they are not supervised. And I will get to know what they do or what they choose naturally without me supervising them. So for a child who loves to do things with trials and error, who loves to move around, is a kinesthetic bodily intelligent child. They love trial and error. They love to take risk. They'll tell you there's this quote, all die and I die, let me just do it. And at that child's age, you're like, why are you taking such a risk? No. As a parent, do not try to make that child feel weird. Do not try to make that child feel weird, but rather try to channel this intelligence and understand that if your child is a child who loves to take risks, who loves to do things, who loves to, hello, welcome, hello, I'm not ignoring you, Titi Sule, welcome, welcome. I hope you've been following. So, for a child who loves to try things, do things, try and error without looking at the consequences, without, being bothered that if I try, whatever that happens, no problem. Such a child is a bodily kinesthetic child. That child will be good with athletics. That child will be good with athletics. That child will be good with everything you can think of. Moving. So, how does your child fix a broken thing? That alone reveals a lot. That child, that reveals a lot. How does your child fix a broken thing at home? Then you can actually know how they solve problems. Another way you can know how to identify your learner's strongest intelligence is by identifying what energizes them and what drains them. So, identify what energizes them and what drains them. Children feel alive doing what aligns with their intelligence. So, let me give you an example. Observe your teenager. What's that thing that they do? And they do it with ease. They do it with all of themselves. They do it with everything in them. With joy, with understanding, and they are not bothered about it, whether they are being drained. They can do it over and again every single day of their life. An example is the child that loves to sing, loves to listen to music every single time. That way you can actually know that that child is a musical, intelligent child. Outdoor play excites the child. Then the child is a naturalistic child. You also see that you have a teenager who loves to take care of their younger ones or take care of people. Loves to teach their siblings. It gives them joy. Teaching gives them joy. Such a child is an interpersonal, intelligent child. Energy is one of the most honest indicators of intelligence. And another thing you can do is look for patterns, or rather, pay attention to the questions they ask. Pay attention to the questions that your learners ask. The type of questions that children ask reveals their thinking style, reveals their thought process, reveals how they think, reveals what exactly it is that goes through their mind from the questions that they ask. Examples is that, how does this work? They're always asking, so how can I do this thing? How does it work? Can I try it out? They're always asking questions. Such a child is a logical child. Another is that they're always asking, why did she feel sad? Why is she angry with me? I'm so sorry. I feel hot. Are you hot? That's an interpersonal, intelligent child. Another is they're always wanting to go out. Like I talked about my younger brother who always loves to watch Nat Geo Wild. That's the way to understand and pay attention to the kind of questions that they ask. Can we go outside? I want to go to the park. I want to do this. I want to have a dog. Get me a dog. Such a child is a naturalistic, intelligent child. And finally, look for patterns in their mistakes. Look for patterns in their mistakes. Mistakes tell more about intelligence than successes, honestly. Mistakes, it tells more about intelligence than successes. Examples: a child who struggles to sit still is not stubborn. That child is kinesthetic, loves to move around. A child who talks a lot is not distracting. That child is linguistic. So a child who loves to talk a lot, trust me, the child will be a good speaker. Would be a public speaker. Yes. to look for patterns in their mistakes. Things that you see and you say that you talk too much. You're always up and about, sit at a place. Those are intelligences that are hidden that you don't know. And you've probably quoted as something. Or you now say that it's an issue, and then you now quoted the child as being, stubborn or talking too much. Now that we've said all of these things, what can you do as a parent or a teacher after identifying the intelligence of your learner? 1, support their interest early. Please. I've seen parents where they will know that this is what their child enjoys doing, but they will say never. It is what I want you to do that you will do. Haba. Gone are the days where we live our lives, or rather we allow our children live our life for us. More like trying to continue where we stopped. But meanwhile, they have their own journey. So support their interest early enough. When you figure out that this is who this child is, the next thing you should do is that you should support their interest early. Give resources, expose them to tools, exposure. Take them to trainings. For a child that doesn't sit at a place, expose the child to athletes. Expose the child to things that they love to do. Expose the child to such skills. And another thing you can do is to advocate for them in school. What it means is that teachers may not have the time to observe, but you as a parent, you spend more time with them at home. When you've observed, take it to their teachers. That I've observed though, this is who my child is. And I would love that this child is being followed up in this manner. Share insights with the teachers, your children's teachers. And another thing you could do is to stop comparing. Stop comparing. Stop comparison and pressure, please. Stop comparing your child to another. I started with every child is different. Stop comparing your child to another. Every child's growth and curve is different. So why are we going through all of this whole understanding your child's intelligence? Why do we want your child to become the best at what they do? Why do we want your child to not be the contemporary, going to school, going to university, studying a course that they don't want to study, and coming out, spending years in university, their parents spending money, and they come out and don't use that degree like you did as a parent? It's because the Future Path project is after these kind of things, where we want every child to discover their strengths and design their future early enough. Because every child has an inner potential that can be discovered early. So think about it as a parent. If you knew what you wanted to do at age 10, or age 14, or age 15, would you be where you are right now? If you knew what you were going to do at age 15, would you be where you are right now? If your parents exposed you to the things you naturally loved to do, would you be where you are right now? Enjoying, not just even doing it, enjoying what you are doing. Enjoying what you are doing. So that is what the Future Path project is about. We don't want children to go over the cycle that we parents went over. We don't want children going over that cycle. That is why we have put together what we call the Career Discovery Bootcamp. What the Career Discovery Bootcamp is that it is it's an initiative, or rather it's a bootcamp that has been designed for children between the ages of 10 and 18. Where they figure out, we help them through, it's a 1-week bootcamp where we help them through to understand and know a career that is fit for them. And how do you don't just wake up one morning and then decide that, oh, this child, it seems like this child will be a lawyer, or this child should be a doctor, or this child should be this child should be that. No. But rather, what the Career Discovery Bootcamp does is that it would help this child to, first of all, we help to understand or rather identify their learning style. Then we identify their strength, their area of strength. We identify their intelligence, their strongest intelligence. We help do all of these things. And then we know the career that is fit for them. We give them different skills and tell them, do this, do this, do this, do this. And that way we can now know a career that is fit for them. All of this put together is going to happen under a week. Every single day, rigorously with the children. So the Career Discovery Bootcamp aims that, or rather its aim is that we want every child to be, or rather find out who they want to become early enough and faster. And so that they can do what they want to do, fulfill their God-given destiny and purpose, and enjoy a career, enjoy a life, while they make good money out of it. Statistically, it is shown that 85% of adults are in jobs that they never enjoy doing because they're just trying to navigate through life. We don't want our kids going through that. That is why the Career Discovery Bootcamp is here. And it is going for 50,000 naira per child. It is going for 50,000 naira per child. It is going to be a closed group, and we're just taking 20 students. When we've taken the number of students that we need, this cohort to be closed. This cohort is going to be closed because we need to work with the children well. We don't need a large number of students for the cohort. So we take 20 per cohort. And after that, we close the cohort. But then, for the sake of the people who were able to join this webinar, this teaching series this evening, we're going to give them a discount. We're going to give you a discount. We're going to make it easier for you and your child. But this offer, this special offer I'm going to give, is going to end tonight by midnight. So if I were you, I would jump on it as soon as possible and as fast as possible. So instead of paying 50,000 naira per child, just for tonight, you are allowed to pay 19,500 naira per child. And if you're a parent registering for 2 children above, you are allowed to pay per child 15,000 naira if you have 2 children and above. But if you have just a child, please, you are paying 19,500 naira per child. And the offer lasts till midnight, please. After midnight, it goes back to normal. Like I said, we are working with a number of students. And after the cohort is filled up, we shut down. Because we need to work. It's not a thing where we just do a guesswork. We take them through psychometric assessments. We take them through series of tests, conversations, exercises, and so on and so forth. So we don't want to have a number of students that we cannot follow up with. We're working with 20, and after that, we are closed for the cohort. So 15,000 naira if you have 2 children above, and 19,500 naira per child. And this offer is a special offer, but it will last till midnight. This offer ends by midnight. Please let me know in the comment section or drop in the chat bar if you're on Zoom. And if you're on YouTube, you can drop in the comment section, I'm interested and I want to register for my child, so that we can attend to you faster and immediately. So I really want to thank you all so much for joining in, and I want to beg you, all that we have said so far, if there's anything you want to take home with you, is to take home with the fact that your child is different. Every child is different, and you don't want your child going through the same circle of using years trying to figure out, who am I, what do I want to do, what do I want to become, who do I want to become, why do I like this thing, but I have a flair for this, and then my parents said I should study medicine. Meanwhile, I have a flair for engineering. If there's anything you want to take home as a parent today, is to take up with the fact that they have a journey. They are different, they're not like you. Do not try to allow them live their life trying to please you as their parents. That is why the Career Discovery Bootcamp is here. And I would advise you to jump on this offer because by midnight it would end. So moving on, we're going to get into the question and answer section. And we will do that for next 5 to 10 minutes, where we'll call it a day. The question and the answer session. Please drop in your question. It's time for the question and the answer session. If you have any question about what we've talked about since, please, you can drop it. Titi Sule, you've been typing on the comment section on YouTube. I believe you have a question. Yeah, Titi Sule and Dauda, I believe you have a question. It's time to ask your question. So please let me know if you have a question before we call it a day. Before we call it a day. Titi Sule and Dauda, you've been commenting on the comment section. I would love to know your questions and hear them. And those of us on Zoom, it's time for the question and answer. Kindly drop in your question before we call it a day. Okay. Before we call it a day, I want to give us the opportunity to ask our questions. Please ask your question. It's time for the question and answer section about your children's intelligence. And if you've been following us from the beginning, questions in relation to this, and even if it's from the last class, you can even ask that question. Your child is different. And it is important that you stop comparison. Stop comparing your child to another. Stop comparing them to another. Your child is different. So please ask your questions. Drop in your question on YouTube, on the comment section, and on Zoom in the chat box. You can drop in your question before we call it a night. Okay. Those of us on Zoom, you can unmute yourself if you do not want to type. You can unmute yourself to ask your questions. Let me see if that's from my end. Okay. Right. Okay, so I want to thank every one of us for joining in. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for following through. Once again, my name is Sarah Ebime Esekwe, and this is the School of Identity. See you same time, 7 p.m. Invite a parent, invite a teacher, and enjoy the rest of your evening and weekend. Good night.